about 420, and then we just kind of hovered between 420 million and 480 million between 2013 and 2019. In 2020, we were hoping to hit 500 million. Then COVID happened. The team was able to address the needs of COVID and operate through COVID and address your increased demand. And we ended up with 980 million. So, for a company to almost double that big, that short a period of time was miraculous. And the team pulled off a miraculous win. 2021, that wave kept going and we crested $1 billion in 2021. After COVID, people started to go back to work. They're not at home as often. The free government money dried up. People were busy doing other things. They don't need warmers and wax running in their home 24/7 like they used to. They have less time to engage in teams and businesses. So sales are going to come down, and they're going to come down big because they went up big.
Same thing with the exercise industry. If you remember, during COVID, you couldn't buy weights or anything. There was a wait period to buy exercise stuff.
So we can't get too panicked that right now, this year, we're going to be between 480 and 500 million. Right? That's really, if you took COVID out of the picture, that's the line we would have been. And so it might feel like we're in a dip, but it might have been we just are coming off an irrational high. And we're back to normal, if that makes sense. Right?
The irrational high would be nice. But I mean, I guess we would have to look back. What were you all doing that we hit that growth like that? Like, where are all those customers that you were selling to?
Did they hate their experience? Yeah. Did they not like their product? Right? He said they're now paying for the babies they made during COVID. Now, I'll be honest with you. If you look at our consultants over time, and you were to say, what's the bullseye? What person, or what demographic is the ideal Scentsy consultant? And we've done this, we've looked at this, we've looked at this. It is a woman about 7 months pregnant with her second child.
Having to decide if she's going to go back to work, or if she's going to, have to have childcare for 2, or stay at home.
If you think about it, most women that are working can make enough money to take care of one child care. It's worth economically.
Bless you. Bless you.
It's economically viable for her to stay at her job, and pay for daycare, even though she doesn't want to, but that's the best economic decision for her family. Once there are 2 children in daycare, then that economics changes dramatically. And the emotional pull to stay home with her kids is greatest. That's where giving somebody an opportunity to stay home with their kids and still make money has the greatest appeal. If you have 2 kids in daycare, you already know you can afford it. By the time you have your 3rd kid, one's in kindergarten, and you only have 2 kids in daycare. Right? Very few people have 3 kids in daycare. That makes sense, right? And so that is the economic thrust. Now, we have consultants who will never have children, consultants who had children 50 years ago, and consultants who haven't had kids yet. We're not saying that that is the only kind of consultant we're after. That's the bullseye. Does that make sense? So if they're out having babies, it's a good thing for us.
But I think also, to go along with that, on our end, we need to evaluate the products that we're putting out still, you know, the things that people are wanting and on trend. We
the
need
movie
to do a lot
Twisters.
of in
There's a
house
quote on
evaluation.
there
I
that
think.
says
Now
you
look at
don't
that.
face your fears, you
Make sure
ride
that what we're
them.
doing is good. So.
The thing that struck me,
And if
I'll
you
just give
feel
you,
it,
maybe this is
you
way too
chase
much
it.
information. I
So
might
think
scare
about
you a little
that.
bit, I gotta be careful. Okay, I was
So
sitting
means if you
in
feel your dreams, you
Dan's
chase it.
office. Outside Dan's office are a bunch of Scentsy buddies that are lining the wall. Because Scentsy buddies are all over the home office now. And they're like weeds that are starting to take
You like it? Okay. Maybe we should raffle them off.
Okay, so these Scentsy buddies are all there. Now, I can't remember the names, but there was a dog, and then there was a pink giraffe, and then there was a unicorn, and then there was a fox.
Chases off.
Oh no, the kangaroo, little kangaroo. So they were there, and then there was Spider-Man, the Hulk, Red, and a couple of other licensed products. And I sat there and I thought, take away the intellectual property that we licensed. What's more beautiful? Right? What, if you were decorating a room, who's going to decorate a room around the Incredible Hulk?
No.
There might be a couple, right? But I think we have done too much of borrowing other people's art instead of creating our own art. And that's the one thing that licensing is just like ranch dressing. You know, if you dip ranch dressing or you dip a piece of lettuce in a bottle of ranch dressing, you don't call it a salad.
Right.
Right? As much as you like ranch dressing, you need a good ratio of lettuce to ranch to make it salad. And we have to be careful about that. So that's something about the growth moving forward. We have to wean ourselves off of other people's art and do better at creating our own art. And that's an initiative I think we need to take.
Very well said.
The other thing that came up in our executive meeting, we've done a lot of talking since we've been back in our executive meeting. The other thing that came up, which came up in our conversation last night with Lindsay and Jamie, was about the LTOs. And the number of LTOs has changed a lot since during our mission. And so we realize that, and that's something that we'll be evaluating and looking at.
Here's a reality that you won't like as consultants. The more that we sell out, the more back orders you have and the more frustrated your customers are, the more they will buy from you.
So true, so true. That's exactly what happened
It is
during
so
COVID.
counterintuitive.
Yeah.
People go to Black Friday not because they expect to find an easy path through the store and guaranteed availability of everything that they want. They go because it is a crazy frenzy and they like the adrenaline of the win. In the world of shopping today, that is a psychology, and sometimes we try to manage that out of the experience of our customers, because we're concerned about how you're feeling, the stress that you're under. The reality is we need to teach you how to enjoy that stress.
Some people.
Because it's that stress that creates the energy to bring new customers on, and those new customers get caught up in the enthusiasm, and then they want to be a part of it.
But the problem is, we have 500,000 of each warmer now. So
Which means
we can't sell out for years.
if we manage to make sure that you never have a sellout, we have a difficult time creating energy. If we manage to create energy, there are going to be some sellouts, and your customers aren't going to get what they want, and you're going to have to deal with that. So as a consultant, you have to ask yourself the question, do I want an easy business where I never have conflict with my customers? Or do I want a business where my customers are always on edge whether or not they get what they want, but are confident they can always get something they will want because there's so many good things coming out. If they miss this one, they'll be able to be happy on the next one. That's, I think, where we need to get back to. Everybody agrees.
I would rather it sell out than see it 3 months later on the clearance sale.
That's exactly what's happening, I think, yeah.
Now that is, he was talking about, I'd rather it sell out than have it come show up on the clearance section a few months later. Here's the reality of why that happened.
Yeah,
$1 billion in sales, we don't know when it turns off. COVID starts, it left as fast as it came, and those sales came down fast. But our factories had orders from the height of from COVID, and so then we have this glut of inventory that we have to manage through for 2 years until we get back to orders that are placed according to the energy that we have. We're getting to that point where that rat has gotten through the snake. So we're getting close to that. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you get what he said? The rat's gotten through the snake.
There's like a crash in 11 in China's flesh here, right? Mexico probably is here. Do we not have more simplistic warmers made in Mexico? So we better have better control, because we're in Texas. We're not that far from Mexico, and you can send it to Congo and to Idaho and other regions. We can get it faster out to us. Maybe not the Lord of the Rings, but the more simplistic, and work on building the craftsmen up in Mexico. So if we have another pandemic, they're coming from Mexico rather than sitting in ports for months from China.
Do you want to tell her what happens when we get from Mexico?
Mexico is really difficult to
Yeah,
work with.
it is. And they charge crazy made-up fake fees to get stuff across the border.
Yeah, but I think, okay, the question is, there was a warmer that was made in Mexico, quality wasn't really up to the standards that we get in China. When people say, why do you make your products in China? Here's the best answer. What do you call that cupboard next to the formal dining room that holds your dishes? China cupboard. Why? Because all the best ceramics for centuries have come from China. They invented the concept, and the craftsmen that work on our products are generational ceramic experts. If you're going to make ceramics, you go to China. If you're going to make pasta, you go to Italy. Unless you're really historical, and then you go to China. We have this negative connotation of China, and rightfully so in many ways. Right? There's many things problematic with that, with the government there and the way people are treated. But historically, for 1,000 years, China has been the manufacturer of the world. They make stuff for everyone else, and they've done it for thousands of years. And so, let them be them. We'll be us, right? We're the people that know how to build cultures, know how to build communities, know how to sell products, know how to bring about peace and prosperity through capitalism. We'll do that, and if we're buying products from China, let's just buy the products that were traditionally made in China. And then make in America what is best to be made in America, like all of our fragrance products. You know, half of the products we sell are made in America. And it's only because we make products in China that we can employ so many people making products in America.
Okay, so back to this table right here to finish it up. We have a lot of evaluating to do. 3 years is a long time to be away. We honestly were serving a mission. And we tried as little as possible to look at Scentsy while we were gone and let Dan and the team run it. And so now we have to get back in and you know, do a lot of evaluating. But our goal would be to turn the 38 months of dip around and get back to growth. So
Now, here's the thing. With the 38, and this is going to take a minute, so you put your hand down, sorry. With that decline, a lot of times people think, oh, well, this is where we're headed. Right? If you think about it in the 50s and 60s, when people looked at the future, because things were good back then, from, you know, there was progress happening, you take where you're headed and you project it into the future, and it was Jetsons' world. We'd be driving around in space cars and pushing buttons and having food pop out of, you know, robotic machines, and Rosie the robot would take. I mean, that was the projection. You get to the 80s when the economy had turned, and you projected, and it was like Running Man and Blade Runner and Mad Max, and you know, you project where this is going, and it's all dystopia, right? So the reality is things go in waves, and so you have to be careful not to get too worried about the future when things aren't looking good, and too optimistic about the future when things are looking good. And when things are on a downhill in terms of sales, there are things that you can work on that make a big difference. And as we were coming back from the UK on this last trip, on the Delta planes, they have little TV screens, and we watched a master class by James Clear from Atomic Habits, who spoke at convention a few years ago.
Yeah. If you haven't read that book, it's an amazing book. You should read it, Atomic Habits.
Okay, now what's the premise of the book? It starts out with a story of the British cycling team. Right? The British cycling team was so bad that bicycle manufacturers didn't want to sell them bikes because they would be afraid it would destroy their brand value if the team was using their product. That's how bad the team was.
And they haven't earned any kind of medal since, what, 1908?
One gold medal
Yes.
in 100 years.
In 100 years. Ooh, that's bad.
So they had to fix something, and so they brought in a guy named Dave Brailsford.
Is it Dave? Brailsford. Last name Brailsford,
Yeah.
for sure.
And he brought in the concept of the aggregation of marginal gains. Aggregation, the accumulation, or the building up of
Tiny.
marginal gains. So they worked on things like, of course they looked at how to make their bikes more efficient, but he tried to say, let's figure out how we can make everything we do 1% better.
Everything. So they looked at hand washing even, that the bikers getting sick more often would cause a problem in earning a gold medal. So they taught them all how to hand wash.
They looked at the difference between different kinds of massage gels to see if one would help them recover faster. Like little tiny insignificant things that they would think about.
One of the other things is the inside of their trailers, they painted white so that they could see the dust particles that might build up or get onto the bikes and cause friction and problems. So they looked at everything.
So you all, in your individual business and in your teams, are thinking, okay, how does this ship turn around? Thinking that Scentsy is going to be the solution to your problem because sales are down now. The reality is Scentsy sales are down because consultant sales are down. We don't sell without you, right? It's your sales that aggregate to Scentsy sales. So Scentsy sales are down 50% in the last 3 years. It's because you all collectively are selling 50% less than we did a year or 3 years ago. don't think that it is us that will bring the salvation or the destruction to your business. It will be you doing these little things that will accumulate over time into great things. And meetings like today are where you start to identify those ways you can make 1% improvements. And as you accumulate those over time, then miraculously, things will start growing again and we'll hit another hyper growth and you'll think, well, that came out of the blue. No, it didn't. You know, the British cycling team, what did they end up doing? Like 3 years after they hired him?
Over a 10-year period, 178 national, different kinds of medals.
Yeah.
Over a 10-year period.
70% of the gold medals of cycling gold medals.
Years.
Yeah, 70% of the gold medals in cycling in the 2012 Olympics, the British team won. They won 5 out of the last 6 Tour de France's. They hadn't won one before he was hired. Right? So fundamentally changed everything. It didn't come out of the blue. They fixed all of the little things, and that accumulated into greatness.
But there are things on our end we can fix too, to make sure that we're delivering everything you need to take to your customers.
You know, one of the most important one of the most important concepts of his book is you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. The British team didn't change their goals. They always had a goal of winning a gold medal.
They always wanted to.
But their systems were not good enough to earn gold medals. Until they upgraded their systems, they were never going to earn a gold medal. If you look at the great superstar directors, what examples they teach, they have created very good systems.
And habits, those are habits, which is,
Yes.
the book is called Atomic Habits. So.
And as you create systems and you employ those systems consistently, then they become habits that create exponential change in your life.
They multiply as you repeat them, which is the amazing part of the whole thing.
So if you want Scentsy to grow again, to get back to $1 billion, it's pretty simple. We need consultants to sell $1 billion worth of product. It sounds easy. How do you do that? Well, you're probably going to need more consultants. You're probably going to have systems to onboard them, or systems to encourage or to entice them, systems to encourage them, systems to onboard them, systems to train them, systems to reward them, systems to replicate that experience with others. And that's the power of direct selling. We can do that.
Hey, all right, we got a table? Nope, she's got a.
I have a question. So if sales have fallen, has the number of consultants also decreased?
Yes.
Yes.
Percentage-wise, about the same. So sales per consultant hasn't changed very much. Basket size, like what a customer buys hasn't changed that much. Really, we just have a lot fewer people participating. And so the real question is, why haven't we been able to find those customers and engage with them? And a lot of you, I think, are waiting for a miracle to happen, but in reality, there is a fallow field that has been plowed a couple of years ago, waiting to be replanted, and just looking for somebody to go plant it. You just have to go find that field. It's right under your nose.
Not including licensed stuff. When a consultant sends in a product share, like something, an idea that they have, and we're not talking about licensing, we're talking about like a new product or a style of warmer, something like that. Where does that idea go, and how is it formatted to get put and where does it go? Like where does that product?
Yeah, it does. We have not R&D, it's the product development team, and they're the ones that monitor that and read that and look at it, and or our product development group that actually put things together to make things, make products. And they will read that. If they think it's a good idea, then they'll do a prototype. It'll be introduced in our meetings, so we'll hear about it. It's kind of how, yeah. Did you submit an idea?
Well, I submitted a few, but I know other, like, I've never, I didn't know, like, how it was done, and we were talking about it, like, is it, like, you guys gather around, and you're like, hey, these ideas,
So let me, can I ask a question? Is there still the upvote, downvote of an idea on idea share?
Yes?
Yeah. So if an idea is not upvoted much, or it's only one-off, it can get buried. It's usually the upvoted ideas that do well. And we have to be careful as a company because, Incredible Hulk buddies get upvoted because, that'll be quick and easy sales. But in the long run, if we just have Avengers buddies, one right after the other, we get a very narrow group of customers. So we have to be careful just taking that idea share. But when things start to trend on idea share, the team will pull that off and say, okay, should we be doing this? And then that will often, a prototype will be created, the superstar directors will be polled if they like it or not, and kind of get upvoted or downvoted among a group of superstar directors. That's one of the perks of being a superstar director is, and the reason we use them and not just broadly is because we have them NDA. They have enough to lose if they release something that we can trust them with that strong NDA, and that gives us good information.
Can you explain what an NDA is, maybe not everyone?
Oh, I'm sorry, an NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. So before we give our superstar directors access to stuff coming up, then they have a non-disclosure agreement that they sign. And if they disclose it, there are punishments. And some of them have experienced that. It's a pretty hard slap on the wrist financially.
Yeah, it just
So
means
they don't do it very
you
often.
won't tell what you see.
Now, usually though, just to put y'all at ease here, they might do a survey for a product that's coming out in 9 months and not know when it's coming out. So usually when it comes out, like, oh yeah, we surveyed that like a year ago. It's not like they are getting information that's coming out next week before they're out. Okay.
Do you want to go with that?
Should we open up the question? Okay. Because the guy behind you is pointing at you, you must have something really good to say. Okay, a two-part question.
They're not really related, but we can both put them in there.
So it's a two-part question that's not related, which means there are two questions. I'm calling it a two-part question. Okay.
If you could, and I know you guys think about this down the line, but when we are looking at the different product categories, are there any categories that consultants here should start getting very excited about possibly being built out further? So that's the easy one, because obviously, but then the more challenging one is, we tried a new thing this past year at Epcot, where we were direct selling from Epcot without a consultant in the middle. Obviously, that put a lot of consultants a little bit concerned that that was the direction Scentsy made consider going. And for those of us on director pages, we saw the explanation on it. So part of the benefit of being a consultant and selling is you had that follow-up system. So there was a way once somebody bought something from you, you could make sure. I think the thought process behind Epcot was people would try to go to the Scentsy website and buy more. But for those of us in Missouri that are close to Disney, there's the fear of how does that benefit the group as a whole. And so, kind of like the thought process on it, do we see that direction continuing where Disney could be like, no, let's cobble things up and want access to everything? Is that something that Scentsy is going to consider? I feel like some of the how you talked about for things that we probably not going to
are we thinking of bringing out any new categories?
Or are there any categories that we're gonna expand?
Either way,
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
And just curious, that's not anything that has come up in the executive meeting, but that doesn't mean
I
that.
mean, it always comes up, but it doesn't come, so there's nothing actionable in my mind on that.
But that doesn't mean that product development isn't working on something that we haven't seen yet, if that makes sense. So, like, we just saw something the other day, part of a category we already have, but we didn't know that maybe that was something we were going to come out with. Yeah. Well, we're not gonna come out with it.
I've
so-
killed a few things. I've killed them like,
That
are
was
you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There's no way we're selling that with a Scentsy brand on it. Put it this way. The last thing I want Scentsy to be doing is copying Walmart. Yeah, like, but it was an idea share. Everybody liked the idea.
Oh, yeah, okay, so the second part,
The second part was, okay,
I already forgot.
so we have this alliance with Disney, right? Part of the alliance, I mean, it costs us a lot of money. Our hope is that by the alliance with Disney, we get easier access to other licenses. And that's been true. People say, oh, you're a Disney Alliance partner? Yeah, we'll give you a license, where we wouldn't have got the license before. It also could give us access to better markets, to new markets. Asia is important for every direct selling company. We don't have a presence in Asia, and our current offering is so Western, Western European, American, it really doesn't translate to Asia very easily. So we have to figure out ways to make a good entrance in Asia if we're going to get there someday. Disney alliances, if you know anything about Korea, for instance, if you know anything about a lot of Asian cultures, they will put you at the level of who you're aligned with. And so if we have a Disney alliance, we automatically have credibility in ways we wouldn't have otherwise. So there are lots of reasons why alliances and licenses make sense. They're expensive. And they sometimes come with things that we might have to deal with. Like Disney, I think, wanted to see what a retail experience would be like in park for those who had the experience. So we said, we can test this. And it's small enough that it's not going to create a negative for consultants as well.
Plus, if you think about it, they buy the bar, it's summer, do they immediately have to go home, leave the park now because they bought a bar that's gonna melt in the sun? I mean, there's a lot of logistics that go into selling outright from a Disney place.
Now, can I make an argument that Scentsy could sell on Disney Main Street straight to customers, and it would be good for you all? Absolutely. I could make that argument. I could line it out for you. I could show it to you. Emotionally, it might not feel good, particularly if you live in Orlando. But that might be something that we would do if we could confidently do it and benefit you. That wasn't what we were planning when we did that. We don't have a multi-channel strategy where like we go open up stores and we sell alongside them. There's no ambition for that at all. We have talked about, man, this whole thing with Amazon and all the knockoffs on Amazon are problematic. Is there a way we could make a deal with Amazon and figure out how to bring consultants along? If we could do that, we would do that where we could control Amazon a little bit better. We haven't been able to figure out a way to do that without hurting consultants. So we're always looking at these ways, but we always have your experience at the front of our minds when we do it. didn't pay attention to what came out. And it's probably already gone. Yeah.
Was there any products that came out that you said hi, Wiley? You message me later, okay?
So one consultant said to me a long time ago, she said, you know, the best thing about Scentsy is you listen to us.
Yep.
The worst thing about Scentsy is you listen to us. Okay.
Do you want to go hand or?
I think we are over our normal time. Should we do it? It's 4:10.
My watch is Idaho time, so.
Okay, we're gonna just go.
We'll do a couple more.
Right here.
Okay,
Right here.
second.
So many,
Your head. No.
Right in the middle.
Go ahead. Stand up.
Okay, fine, everybody's. Ask your question.
How many times have y'all encountered personal and professional dips, and how did you pull yourself out of it?
Great question. Personal and professional dips, and how did you pull yourself out of them?
okay. Tub of ice cream. No, I usually just get down on myself, say some horrible things about myself, and then eat a tub of ice cream or a chocolate bar, and then I'm good. I try not to wallow, but it could last for an hour or two. But then I try to get over it. So,
I have periods of non-productivity. You know, there are times where I'm not on my game, but I don't really. Dips for me, I just don't know if I phrase them that way. The company though
Is there any
has had 3
in TFS?
dips.
You want me to put
We're in the middle of our third.
and I can
We're towards the end of our third.
no?
There are always really hard things we have to do. Some of the hardest things that we deal with are when people that we thought we've had a few employees leave and start companies to compete against us. We've had a few consultants do that. We've had consultants that leave for other companies and then try to pull their downline.
or people that say we're rotten, horrible, you know, whatever, or even just attack Scentsy in general.
Yeah, so those are hard moments, but what I realized over time is that passes. Reality does show up over time. The goodness of Scentsy has always demonstrated itself over time. And a lot of people who might have had negative feelings towards the company usually give it enough time, they're like, man, I was kind of wrong on that one. There's very few things that I look back that Scentsy didn't do right by their consultants. I'm just trying to think if there's anywhere I'm like, yeah, we really missed that one. And I don't know how many times there's nothing that I really regret that Scentsy's done. Now, personal dips or company dips, I think the best way to get out of it is to turn your arrows out. If you think about it, the arrows are in, you're saying that, look, life is affecting me. My team is doing this to me. My husband's doing this to me. The economy is affecting me this way. It's all pointing to your insecurities. If you flip those arrows out, you're now saying, wait, this is an interesting economy. How can I take advantage of the negative news and help somebody? My husband is treating me this way. He obviously is hurting in some way. How can I reach out to him and help him so he's not hurting? My team is stressed and bothering me. How can I relieve that stress and make their life better, right? When you turn your arrows out and use these negatives as fuel for genius, then you're going to come up with the solutions to your life. But you have to turn your arrows out. And when you turn your arrows out, then you just find solutions for other people. When you find solutions for other people, they engage with you more. When they engage with you more, you have a greater platform to help them. And in Scentsy's world, that means you have more product to sell to and through them to people who enjoy the product and are benefited by it. Does that make sense?
I would say also, kind of going along with what he was talking about, if we're attacked, Scentsy or us personally, that we're not the kind of people that will sit around and read it all. So, if anything is, the first thing we do is get off that, wherever we are, because all that does is drag you down. So, if in the future, any of you decide that we're horrible or to leave, just know that we won't read whatever you write about us. So, okay.
I think the concept here is that there are going to be plenty of people that are going to be in your life that are not going to bring good things. You know, they're swimming in your pool and they're peeing. Right? Don't let people pee in your pool. If it's your Facebook page, if it's your mind, if it is your emotional state, don't allow somebody to sit on the edge and just go to town. Kick them out of that pool before they ruin it for everyone else.
Good advice.
Okay. Okay, right here. Shirt with the.
Stand up,
The
there's
girl in
you.
front of the person with the shirt.
So my question goes back to the idea share
Go ahead.
that she was talking about. Just a show of hands in the room, how many people have ever been on Idea Share and voted for anything? How many people have done that in the last 3 months?
Yeah, so more participation is going to bring better results. The other thing is,
Wait. How many of you knew about Idea Share? Okay, so
how many didn't?
A lot that didn't,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Talk to your teams about Idea Share. Okay, here's the important part about Idea Share. You, as consultants, are business people, not consumers. You have to think of what's going on from the Scentsy Home Office as your support organization for your business, not your store for you as a customer. If you think of yourself as a customer, you're going to give different advice than as if you think of yourself as a salesperson. You may hate pet products, right? You may hate pets, but if you have a bunch of customers that have pets, you should be championing pet products, whether you have a pet or not. Yes, you may not do your dishes. You may not
Bring back the dish soap. Bring back the dish soap. Bring back the dish soap.
Okay.
Bring back the
dish
So
soap.
let's go to one more here, and I think we might be. Oh, we're done? Oh, we got 10 minutes. Okay, we'll go here and we'll make this a 10-minute question. A lot of what?
Marble.
Marble, okay.
Marble custom.
I don't
Good
think
question.
we're not collaborating with Marble anymore.
Once we have the agreement, we can do Marble.
Did
We just must not.
Has it been announced we're not doing Marble anymore?
Yes.
Hey, we were in a different continent at the time. It might have been, if so, there was a reason. You know, it's not because we said, yeah, we don't really want to do Marble anymore. It could have been a good reason.
What was the reason?
The question was, always get my pod, because
Come up too.
so when we left to England, I said, okay, here's something you need to focus on.
Yes. Yes.
But then they come back to me a year later, like, oh, we need to stock up and you're only getting 6. If we could put it in,
Sign them up, yeah.
to bring back my pod or the light pod,
Okay.
like, they would be able to, I mean, this deal
Yep. So the idea of more products on Club, making Club more beneficial, so that you can get more of your customers on Club. The whole point of Club is this. If you have enough customers that are enjoying Scentsy products enough to have a Club purchase where your 200 is locked in every month, you'll never go inactive. If you never go inactive, then you're kind of locked in, right? So helping new consultants get enough club customers to get their 200 PRV every month is the best way of retaining the people that you find. So as you onboard them, teach them quickly about Club and help them get their Club customers.
We need to provide the product.
Yes.
That they can do.
And I think one of the initiatives that I want to bring to Scentsy is to elevate the experience at Club so that it is more like a host experience where they feel special for being part of Club rather than the forgotten customers of Club. And always get my bar was important for Club. Always get my other things I think would be very important. Okay, so here's always the challenge. Here's always the challenge. There are manufacturing constraints to doing small batches. Some things can be done in small batches better than other things, right? Pods are very difficult to do in small batches, and so they become very expensive to do in small batches. When sales were crazy, we don't have time to do small batches. Now things are slowing down, we might be able to bring that in. Does that make sense? So there are always opportunities when there are challenges. Okay, I think that might be, okay. It's because Tony's not here, so there's a question for Tony.
Didn't we do giveaways for those that weren't able to attend but signed up for the broadcast? Yes.
So here's the challenge. The question is about, when we're doing events and you have to be present to attend, or present to get the giveaways when we're there. Right. So corner cases we can deal with. Here's the challenge. At 10,000 people coming to reunion, I didn't really want to be there. I just was there in Disney World, and it was my only day to go to Disney World, so I didn't go to the meeting. Turns into, well, I was just down the hall and in the bathroom. How come I didn't get it? I'm like, no, everyone. you were posting on Facebook while you were there.
Yeah.
In Disney World, right? People just don't tell the truth. And so, because people don't tell the truth, you get inundated with 350 people saying, well, I have a good reason, I have a good reason, I have a good reason, so we just say, no. If it's something legit, like somebody's health is in dire straits, usually the team is very good to say, okay, I can tell you're not lying to me. I can tell this is a real story. Usually it helps if you would talk to your superstar director, and your superstar director comes with a personal relationship with the person that they're talking to, because they've seen them at Summit and all those kinds of things. They said, hey, I got a team member, it's a legit story. Is there any way they can get it? That's very rarely turned down. Right? To use those leaders, of course, who have built a relationship over 15 years with all of us. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna end there.
It is not the easiest time right now, we understand that, but there are so many opportunities. You just turn your arrows out, pay attention to them. And if you make yourself 1% better every day, those are going to accumulate, and you look back with stunning awe of how much you've improved in a very short period of time.
You're amazing, you're amazing. And thank you for all the cool giveaways. It's been fun today for us to watch the giveaways, and we know that you all donate and help with all of those. So thank you for your big heart. Love you.